Let's now do a short exercise to demonstrate your knowledge and skill in creating objects, 3D objects in Unity, and then positioning them and rearranging your viewport to position them precisely. So go ahead and create a new 3D project. And we're going to create a walled compound with 4 walls, 100 units long. Each wall will be 100 units long and 10 units high. So let's start here in the hierarchy window, right-click and create a 3D object plane. And over here in the scale, set this X anywhere between 40 and 50 and the Z 40 and 50 or so. And there's our plane. Now let me zoom out a little bit. And now right-click and let's create our first wall. So 3D object cube. And our cube over here is going to be 100 units in the X, 10 units in the Y, and then the thickness, which is the Z, is going to be 0.2. So essentially 0.2 meters, 100 meters long, 10 meters high. So you can see here, in terms of position, we need to reorientate this by clicking on Reset. And looks like our scale got messed up. Let's set that to 100, 10, and again 0.2. Okay, so the project here is to use the various tools that you've learned. The resize, you're going to need the rotate tool, you're going to need the scale tool, the hand tool. To go ahead and create a compound, 100 units aside. So I think the best way to do this is to go into the for split, and notice you can see your wall here, and go ahead and here in the hierarchy, right click on the cube. You should probably rename that wall, west wall and north wall and so on, and duplicate that. Notice that if you use the move tool, you can see that there's 2 walls there, and then use the rotate tool here in the top view to go ahead and rotate that 90 degrees, and then use the move tool to move it. So the challenge here is to use these various windows to precisely position each wall. So I'll be looking at the juncture of the wall here to make sure that it's accurate and lying flush. I think you're going to need a variety of tools here to practice this. So again, the juncture of where these walls are, I think, is critical. So that's the way you'll demonstrate that you have a good mastery of the various windows. So you'll move in between split and for split and default. For example, here, let's take the move tool and again click on the hierarchy to make sure you have the right wall selected, and you'll move this and so on, duplicating these things as you go, renaming them. So there's your 4th wall and so on. So again, you want to zoom in using the various tools on where the walls join and make sure that they are even. Also, you'll want to make sure that these walls are 10 meters high, and you'll do that by here in the select the wall piece, and then here in the position, if you set the Y, because this is 10 meters high, if you set it to 5, notice that brings it up, because originally it'll put it right in the middle of the plane. So if you put it on 5, that'll move it up. Notice if you do 10, puts it up too high, and if you do -10, it puts it below the plane. So that's just a little trick there, that 5 will put that right on the plane. So make sure that everything is resting on the plane. The walls are not embedded in the plane. One other tip is you may find that you can't see a wall, and you may need to move the directional light here so that the light is shining on the wall. And then you can also notice rotate the light so that you can see all four walls. Also, you might need to move the camera so that if you go into game view, you can see the wall. So this should take about 20 minutes or so, 15 minutes, depending on your skill set. The idea is to go ahead and build this compound 10 meters tall, 100 meters wide aside, and that positioning here, those walls should be perfectly abutted. There's several shortcuts, but go ahead and use the various tools you've learned so far to do that exercise. And then once you've done that, I think you have a pretty good understanding of the various views, 4-split, 2x3 default, and your hierarchy, and you're getting to know the inspector better. Over here, these numbers as well. So good luck.